Hey guys, okay, so I'm gonna do a fall vibes video. I realize I'm a little bit late. September was a busy month and I just didn't get around to it. But it's October 8th and it's not that late in October, I feel like. You might still be shopping. It's like Prime Days, so maybe you wanna order a book or two. And some people celebrate fall into November. I personally am a decorate for Christmas on November 1st person. It is what it is. But I will go through some books. I have some ones that I loved that I recommend. I have some ones that didn't quite work for me but might still be good for other people. And then I have two books that I plan to read for my fall reads. So to start out with, I have two books that I read e-copies of, so I don't have the physical, but that were really good. The first one is the Scholomance series. A Deadly Education is the first one, by Naomi Novik. And I guess I should start off. So when I do fall reads, I tend to gravitate more towards like dark academia and vibes. Sometimes like paranormal, like vampires and stuff, but I'm not like scary story person. I'm weak. I'm a wimp and I can't do scary stories, but I like the vibes and the dark academia edge. So most of these will be that way. Yeah, they're not like horror books. This is not your video if you like horror. Sorry. Okay, but anyways, so the Scholomance series, it is it is young adult, I believe, like shelved as, but it's involving a lot of death. And so it's kind of new adultish, but they're younger. They're like teenagers. But they go to the school where they have to grow up fast because once you're a teenager and you have magical powers, these evil entities that just like consume you start hunting all teenagers. And their children are protected when they're younger, but then once they get old enough, they pretty much all of them get shipped off to the school, the Scholomance, to learn how to control their magic better and to kind of protect them, but also just to keep them all in one place. And so it's a 3-book series. It's completed, but it takes place over, I believe it's 4 years or 3 years that this girl is in the Scholomance, and like hundreds of kids die in there, but it's better than when they're in the outside world because they're not hunted as easily, I guess. Like the Scholomance has these protections there. So anyways, it's good. This girl has like this, her power is stronger than other people, so kids learn and write spells to do normal things, like to sweep the floors or to like fold your laundry or to cook food. But this girl can't do normal spells. She can only do extreme ones. So like when she writes a spell, it's like to blow up a city or to cause an earthquake or like these big things. And so she's kind of an outcast of society. And so she's an interesting character. But I like it. There's some slight romance things, but not really. I mean, it's just like friendships in school. So that one's a really good one. I love the whole series. It's one of my favorite dark academia school setting books. But it's YA. There's like no spice to it or anything. Next, it's A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. I read this one last year, and it is kind of like a Dracula retelling. But it's like LGBTQ Dracula, since they live forever, theoretically they would have like a bajillion different people that they're with throughout their lifetime. And so every now and then Dracula takes a bride, he calls them, and they live with him for a short or a long amount of time. And in this story, I believe there's 3 brides, 2 women and a man, that over the course of time is with Dracula. But it is not, I don't think his name is even Dracula either. Can't quite remember at this point, but it's not as much a vampire story. Yes, they are vampires and they drink blood, but it is more a story of emotional trauma and the binds that he has over them, because he turned them and took over their lives. He's all they have, and so they're dependent on him. But he's not necessarily a great guy. So it's interesting, it's good. It goes over some good themes, and it was way more than I expected. I didn't pick it up at first because sometimes vampire stories don't do it for me anymore. But that was a really good one, and I recommend it a lot. So the next one, I have another vampire story that it's not as good as Dowry of Blood, but it was in the same like vein. It gave me the same feel after I finished Dowry of Blood, and I was kind of sad that it was done. So this one is House of Hunger, which is what's her name? Camilla retelling. Camilla is like one of the other original vampire stories. It might even be older than Dracula if I remember right, but it's a female, obviously, because her name is Camilla. And so this is a sapphic story, and it is about these lords. I believe they're called lords, maybe? I don't know. They're the ones who rule. They're the rich ones. But they all live longer because they drink blood. And so girls who are from poor areas but are beautiful or have good upbringing or well educated will kind of sell themselves off to be house brides. I don't know. There's a name for them. Or a blood maid. That's what it is. They sell themselves off to be a blood maid and live like kind of a lavish lifestyle, but the lords drink from them. And so this girl, she is, and it's by Alexis Henderson. Sorry, I forgot to say that. But she sells herself off to be a blood maid, and she is sent to a house where the lord is a woman, and it is not the best environment, but they have a good lifestyle type thing. All the girls there are like kind of pitted against each other. They all live in kind of like a dormitory vibe, and then the lady of the house chooses her favorites and pulls them in for her nightly entertainment, for dinners, for blood, and all that stuff. So it's a competitive atmosphere that the girls start going dark. Yeah. So that was good. It wasn't my favorite, but it was still good, you know. Next is The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshani Chokshi. I think that's how you say it. And this one is, I would say it's magical realism, maybe. But it's set more, they call it fantasy. Yeah, whatever. It's set like in our world. And it begins like with this relationship, this man and woman. I think they're married, if I remember right. Either engaged or married. Maybe boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm pretty sure they're married though. And you can tell from the beginning that something's like off, like it's not a great relationship. But then it delves back into kind of how it started and why this girl seems kind of weird and messed up, and her backstory, and you learn about her childhood and this best friend that she had and the weird situations that she was in. I wouldn't say there's like likable characters in it. It's one of those stories where you are intrigued by what's happening, but you don't like feel for the characters, you know, you just like want to know what's happening. But it was very good. I'm not very good at summaries right now for some reason, but and there is a twist at the end that I did not see coming. Maybe some people do, but I didn't see that one coming. Next is The Ghost Bride by Yang-Shi Chu. And this one is, it has like some Chinese mythology, folklore, that's the word, Chinese folklore tied into it, where they sell off flower brides, I believe, or ghost brides, I believe that's what they're called, where a girl marries the ghost of a dead person. So if there's a wealthy enough son and a poor enough girl, the family will sell off the girl to marry the ghost of the son. And so she's tied to this body, and this spirit, and she can't like escape it. Like she can't live completely in the normal life. So it's kind of a ghosty vibe. Like it's not scary. It's a YA book. It's a Netflix original series. I never realized that. But it was interesting. It's very different than our culture, like, or my culture, white from America. But it gave the vibes, you know. Next is a thriller, Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinsborough. Thrillers are best off if you don't know what it's about. But it's kind of a domestic thriller more. There's a couple, the woman, makes friends with this other girl, and she starts intertwining them in their lives type thing. Yeah, I won't give you too much. I thought I had it figured out, and then at the end I was like, oh, no, never mind. So it was good. It's one of those books that once you know the ending, you're like, oh, okay, that was cool, but I don't think I'll ever read it again, but I recommend it to other people. I kept the book so I can give it to other people. Next is one that I just finished last week or the week before, Vita Nostra by Marina and Sergei Dyachenko. It's a translated work. Translated by Julia Maitov-Hersey. This is another dark academia, takes place in Russia, and it's strange. So I'm going to put it out there right away. It's a weird book, but it's very good. It is a series. I think there's 2 out. There might be 3 that the last one's not translated yet. It might just be a duology. I'm not positive. But it's one of those books that you have to just like kind of take it as it is and accept it. Like you can't try and be like, but how is this happening? Why is this happening? It doesn't make sense. Like it's beyond what a human brain makes sense. But dark academia, college setting. So this girl encounters this man who's very creepy, and he kind of blackmails her into doing weird things. Like the first thing is that she has to wake up at 4 a.m. I think it's 4 a.m. every day and go swim naked into the ocean and then come back. And that's it. But he has to do it every single day until he says to stop. And then those little things keep continuing, and then once she passes, then she will hopefully get into this college that doesn't really exist. Like she's never heard of it, but other kids are getting into it too. And then once she is at the college, then other weird things are happening, and nobody really can explain anything. But you want to keep reading to see what's happening, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So I like that one a lot. I haven't got to the second book yet, so I don't know if it ends well, but yeah. Last dark academia in this stack, they were great, you should read them, stack, is Babel. Oh, shoot. What did I forget? Yeah, there's another book. I'll do this bit, Babel first. So, or Babel. I think they pronounce it Babel because, so it's written, takes place at Cambridge, Harvard, I don't remember, Oxford, yeah, over in the UK, and it's kind of like a alternate reality where it's like our world, but what if there's magic in it? And so these students, children, whatever, are taken from their third world countries and brought to England, and they are educated so that, I'm sorry, I got distracted. There's turkeys in my backyard. They're educated so that way they can speak 2 languages, because in this world, if you know 2 languages fluently, you can use 2 words from 2 different languages that are almost the same and similar. And then if you inscribe both of them on silver, it makes a reaction, magic. So like if you know the word for light in 2 different languages, but one of the words for light means like a really bright light and the other one is just light, then it will create a brighter light. That kind of thing. It's kind of confusing to think about, but that's their way of magic. So everything in the world depends on this magic. Everything is lined with silver. That's how cars work. That's how lights work. That's how heating works. And that's how England is colonizing the world. That's how they're taking over, is by bringing this silver into third world countries. And so there's kind of like a societal impact thing that it goes into this book, because these children are given a great life in Europe, but in doing so, they are contributing to England taking over their country more. And so it's kind of, it's not an easy book to read, but it's very interesting, and it's a cool magic system. And I love collegiate settings. They just, I wish I went to like Oxford or like one of those big, huge Ivy League schools that's just really old and cool, but I didn't. I live in the Midwest. There's no cool schools around here. And the last book, okay, let me think about it. Okay, the last book is by Emma Lang. I'm gonna put it up here. I can't think of the name right now. I just read it this fall. But it reminded me a lot of Babel, in that it is a collegiate setting, except for it's with wizards. I didn't read it for a long time because like the taglines and the blurbs didn't sound good to me, but I should have read it sooner because like it's by Emma Lang. I love the Sword of Kaghan, so like I should have known I'd love it. But it's another like social structure thing where there's these people that flee to this city because they're all dying off out in the wilderness. So they flee to the city, and if they make it alive to the city, then they can live in the city, but they're like the underclass. So they are the servants and the cleaners and the people who have the jobs that nobody else wants. And then the ones who can do the magic go to this special school, and they're the ones who make the laws for everyone, including like the original city citizens and the wild people who come in. And so this girl wants to be the first one to be a like upper level magician. She's been training and she's really good, but they never let women into the upper echelon of society. And so she would be the first one in like 100 years or ever or something like that. I can't remember. But yeah, so she is like the best, but she has prejudice. And so she has to come to terms with the fact that yes, she's prejudiced, but there are other people out there who have it way worse than her. And so it like goes big and, you know, twists and turns, whatever. But it's really good. It's by Emma Lang, so it's gonna be good. And it's just coming out in hardcover actually soon. I don't think it's quite out yet. It's either soon or like it just came out last month. I read the ebook version, but yeah, it's getting a rebranding thing. All right, now I have the stack. Oh geez, I need to hurry up. I need to go get my kids soon. I have the stack of books that didn't quite do it for me. Like they weren't bad, but they didn't quite do it for me. But they might be good for you. We'll see. So this one is a YA book, if I remember right. Maybe not, but I had a shelf of my YA books, so I'm gonna go with it for now. The Raven, which is by Sylvan Reynard, about a girl who's living in, Florence, Italy. And she is an artist in the art scene, and she gets attacked at night, blacks out, doesn't remember anything, but there is a huge theft of Botticelli art, and she's blamed for it, but she doesn't think she did it, and it's this whole, I feel like it might have been like vampires or something even, but it's like a vibes thing, like it's like dark Florence art scene. It's a vibe book. I remember it being good, but not great, but if you want to scratch that itch, there you go. The Dante Club is like a murder mystery story. There's this group of scholars, America's first Dante scholars. There's like 5 of them, I think. They like to solve mysteries. And then it turns out there's a serial killer around, so it's academia with a murder mystery vibe. It was good. The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This one was a Jenna book, Read with Jenna, from like Hoda and Jenna's morning show, you know? And I loved the first half of it, and then I thought it got too long by the second half. But I liked the premise of it. It's a college setting. It's either 4 or 5. I think it's 4 originally, and then the main character is the 5th add-in that they weren't expecting. They study ancient literature, Roman literature, Greek literature, something literature. The professor is like an oddball, and he makes it super exclusive, and you have to be part of this club where you're kind of weird, and you all like quote literature back to each other. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure they like study Homer and the Iliad and stuff like that, so it's gotta be Greek. And then dark things start happening. I think there's like a murder or something. But yeah, I liked it a lot. Like, I loved the first half, and then downgraded by the second half just because it got long. It wasn't bad, it just got long in my opinion, but maybe it'll be for you. It's very popular. So next is The Historian, which is it's not nonfiction. It's a fictional book that's written kind of like nonfiction and ties in a lot of real life things. It's very heavy, actually. I think it might be pretty long. Yeah, it's almost 700 pages, but it kind of tracks down the likelihood of whether or not Dracula is still alive. So like Vlad the Impaler is the original person that I'm just checking what time it is. Okay, 2. Sorry, I had to check and make sure that I wasn't missing my kids' pickup time. So Vlad the Impaler was the original king guy. I think he might have been a lord or something. I don't know, whatever he was, that ruled a region over in Transylvania, Romania, back in like the early times, 15th century. And this went over his life, and like these 2 academics go and travel to this place where they try and discover who he really was and what he did, and the theory is that he's still alive, that he faked his own death and he's still out there killing people, just not as like openly, you know. It was interesting, it was good, it wasn't great. It got a little bit too long once again, but it might be a me issue because I apparently tend to lose attention if things aren't great. I still recommend it if you're interested in Dracula or vampire things, or like historical fiction that's based off real things, but it's not true. Like, enough things in here are accurate that it was still interesting. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's that one. And then the last one is another S.T. Gibson book. This is her recent one that just came out. I actually had this on like pre-order. And I just read it for this fall vibes. It might have actually come out like last spring or something, but I had saved it for fall. And it kind of made me a little bit sad because it wasn't as good as A Dowry of Blood. It wasn't bad. It just didn't do it for me. It's a dark academia Camilla retelling. It's a girl who is really good at literature, poetry, goes to this prestigious like girls' school, and gets into this elite class. Of course, I know. All these books are kind of similar, but it's the taglines like me. And the teacher has this elite class, and she has elite study sessions for the best, and there's this other girl who she immediately has competition with, who's beautiful, of course. And she gets brought into these special study sessions with the teacher, the professor, and things get dark. It's Camilla retelling. I didn't realize it was a vampire story because I just ordered it because it was S.T. Gibson and I loved Dowry of Blood. I should have figured that out because that's probably like what she writes is paranormal vampire stories. I just thought it was dark academia. Oh, I should have known it. It says it's a delicious dark academic tale of blood, secrets, and insatiable hungers. Should have known, but I probably just didn't even read the book probably. It was good, not great. It didn't do it for me. We'll see. One of my friends in book club also loved Dowry of Blood, and she said that she's going to pick it up next. And then I told her I didn't like it as much, and she's kind of sad about it now. So we'll see if she reads it, if she likes it. All right, finally, I have my 2 books that I'm gonna read for fall vibes soon. First is Lady Macbeth. Yeah, Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid. I just got this one in. It's actually, I think, signed. It's signed. Ooh, from Broken Binding. This is the UK edition. I'm not sure what the US edition looks like. But it is obviously like a Macbeth retelling, like a villain origin story type thing. So that sounds interesting. It's by the woman, Ava Reid is the one who wrote A Study in Drowning, which I did not love that book, but I loved some of the characters in the book, and I wanted to love it. Like, the premise sounded great, it just wasn't executed well, so I'm gonna give this one a shot and see if I like it more. And I mean, it says Death Touch, Poison Eyed, Witch Kissed. Like, it looks horror vibey. I don't know if it actually will be, but it looks like it. And then my other book is If We Were Villains by ML Rio, which is dark academia. Yeah, I don't really know what it's about even. I just ordered it because people said it was good. It's dark academia. It looks like there's 7 of us. There's Shakespearean actors, and they're in school together, and they have a tragedy happen, and they all try and convince the police that they're all innocent. I don't know. We'll see. It sounds like dark academia, right up my alley. So yeah, if you liked either of those books, let me know if you want to read them with me. Maybe we'll have the same feelings, maybe we won't. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say. I'll be back with a Christmas reads video soon. And another book haul, because I got more special editions. And obviously, as you can see, look at those shine, gilded edges. But anyways, talk to you guys later.